Hello, I'm the Watch Golem. I'm bringing you videos on watches, some clocks and horology. So, customary wristwatch check. On my left wrist, I'm still wearing my 6139 6002. Some people call it a Pogue or a blue Pogue, but yeah, great watch, loving it. Hasn't had a bit of wrist time for a while. And on my right wrist, if I can get the light right, I'm wearing my Citizen Fugo or NY0040. And this watch is today's featured. Now, I've done lots and lots of videos on the SKX, but this Citizen, is a bit of a rival to it. And there's lots of pluses and there's lots of minuses, and both watches are very similar. Both have pros. One, in my book, does one out. The other one is a real champion. Now, believe it or not, I'm one of the few people in the world who has dive watches and actually used to go diving. Strangely, though, I never actually used a dive watch when I went diving. I used another watch, which I'll do a video on later. But the Citizen, in my time learning to dive, I would say 95% of the divers that I met wore the Citizen dive watch. Typically, they were quartz watches back then, which made sense. They weren't watches they wore during the day. They were watches they only wore for diving. So, of course, a quartz watch made perfect sense because you didn't run out, didn't run down. And they loved them. And they loved them because of the clarity of the dials, the arrow-pointed hands. The lume on these watches is fantastic, but also the price. The Citizens were a lot less than current Seikos or obviously Rolexes, etc. Now, this is the NY0040. There was another version that had a full lume dial, which was the NY004009W. Now, I have a little issue with full lume dial watches, and that is, they look great, the idea is fantastic, but what happens is you get burn on the dial. So as the hands move around, where the light hit it prior, it leaves a mark. But hey, it's a little thing. It's just one of my little jobbies. Now, this one is not on its original strap. I do have the original strap. I've kept it because the original strap has the ND dive limits printed on it, and I just wanted to keep the strap original. This is an aftermarket one. It's a bit rubbish, but it does its job. So what's good about the Citizen? So if we do like-for-like comparison, both watches are 21 joules. Both have automatic winding. However, the Citizen has hand winding. So when you unscrew the crown in the first position, it can hand wind. Both have day dates. The Citizen's quick change isn't as crispy smooth as the Seiko. The Seiko feels a bit more robust on that front, from the 7S26A. Both have very well loomed dials. Now, interestingly enough, I think the Seiko wins out here, but only just. Both the hands on these watches, so hour, minute, second hands, are loomed very, very well and will go all night. There's no comparison at all. The Seiko wins out because the loom on the dial is about the same as the loom on the hands, whereas the loom on the dial for the Citizen just fades slightly over time. Other areas, it has a loomed dot at the top. Now the bezel, this is why this watch is called a Fugo, it's serrated, so you can grip it nice and easily, and that is good. It's supposed to represent the puffer fish, which it's got its nickname from. However, it doesn't feel the greatest. It feels a little bit cheap, and it is just held on. Whereas the Seiko's held on, it has a rubber O-ring to make things smooth. However, I've never had a problem with the Citizen dials. They fit well, they go well, they line up. What more can I say? Now the hands on the Citizen are slightly cheaper. They just press steel, whereas the Seikos are chromed. However, the dial on the Citizen is absolutely fantastic. It makes the Seikos look like something they printed off a computer printer they bought in a shop. The quality, if I can zoom in here, the quality of the printing is just second to none. It's crisp, it's clear, it's just so well done. I think it really wins here over the SKX. You just have a look if you see what I mean. The SKX, and I love the SKX style. It really is. It's there. It's a tool watch. It's utilitarian, but the effort put into this, and I love the red. You know, the Seiko's got its red water resist, and of course you've got the ProMaster symbol as well. Now, the movement in this Citizen is their 8203, which has been around since I think time began. I think it's actually been in existence longer than the Seiko 7S26A. It has what's called indirect seconds, which means it's actually another wheel that drives the seconds, and that's a slight disadvantage because sometimes you get slop in the hand, but I've not seen it on these. I've seen Seikos with that set up much worse. 4205, stand up if you can. Case back, again, it's quite nice, really basic, but has their ProMaster symbol printed on it. But let's look at some of the dimensions. Dimensions surprise me because it looks smaller than an SKX, but actually isn't. So we have got, I'm just going to try and do, we've got 41 and a half. Let's do that again. Oh, no, 42. There we go, 42. And the lug to lug, I think on this is, oh, hold on. Yeah, 20. So lug to lug, 20, and the thickness is, oh, we've got just over 12 and a half thickness, which I think makes it slimmer than the Seiko. Bear with me. Yeah, makes it by about 1 millimeter thinner than the Seiko. So whereas the Seiko uses 22mm lug to lug, the Citizen uses 20mm, and I think that's, along with the slim down sides, helps the Citizen look smaller. It wears smaller. But yeah, now the crown, this is one of the attractions for this watch to me, is on the left side. I said before, I get a mark on my hand when I wear my Seikos, but with the crown there, no problem. It sits nicely out of the way. It's not serrated, but there's no problem gripping it. Hand windings are doddle. Yeah, and they do need to hand wind these because although it's an automatic, when you open these watches up, the rotor only goes one direction, and it's that way. And it's not as efficient as the Seiko's magic lever system, which winds both directions. However, side by side, it really is a toss-up. I mean, I wore this watch for years. I beat it, I whacked it, I knocked it. I almost sort of didn't care about it because it was so inexpensive when I got it. And yeah, I just thought, I'll just wear it till it falls apart. But it didn't, and it keeps very, very good time. So let's get it on the old TimeGrapher. I don't know how much wine's in it. Now I'll just do the old manual zoom. Now they have a lift angle that's quite low, 49 degrees. Oh no, I'm just waiting for the camera to sort itself out. Let's see what she does. Now, this is one I haven't actually adjusted or done anything with it, and the watch is from 1994, so that gives you an idea of how old it is. And there you go. Could probably do with a little bit of a wind, but plus 8 seconds and a pretty good beat error. I haven't ever had the desire to go in and adjust it because it keeps superb time, and that from a watch that's nearly 30 years old and has never been serviced. It's pretty good. It seems most people, when these watches do come up for servicing, they just stick a new movement in because it's so cheap. But I think I would like to have a go, take it apart, and give it a good fix and an oil. But there, look at that, pumping away. Actually, amplitude's going up, so that is not bad. That's not bad at all. I'll just pause that. I'll come back with the zoom. Let's do. So for me, which of these watches wins? Well, I'm going to have to turn around and say, yeah, the SKX. The SKX will win. I think it just on aesthetics, it just has that in the watch world. I think for me, an iconic look. The Citizen comes a very, 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 very close second. And to be honest with you, in the dive world, in the early 90s, it really was the workhorse for the sport diver. And I think Citizen should be very, very proud of this watch. And I think these are great watches to have in your collection. And it just shows how good they are, because Citizen have re-released it, albeit in solar-powered form, ecodrive, but that's not a problem. I think they're fantastic watches. Anyway, please like and subscribe. It really helps me. And I will see you on the next video.